Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 108. I'm a bit giddy this morning. It's Friday. I got up very early. I did a lot of work this morning. I feel very good about this Friday. And I'm a little later walking the dogs. And the sun's starting to come up, so it's got me in a good mood. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, but I suffer from SAD, so seasonal affective disorder. Jason does not do good in the dark, which is funny. Like, if you follow my Instagram stories, you'll see me heading off at 3 o'clock in the morning, like walking the dogs at 3 in the morning, jumping in the car, driving for an hour, climbing mountains, starting them in the dark. That's different. I like that. It makes me feel like I'm doing something challenging. It's like a sense of adventure. Like, that's different. Waking up every day. I'm an early riser, so waking up every day at 5 a.m. when it's dark for like 2 hours, I struggle to get going, really struggle to get going. Like during the summer, if I wake up and the sun's coming up, I'm up, I've got a spring on my step, I crack on with my work from 5 o'clock. When it's like this, I will wake up, sit on the couch and scroll my phone for an hour with the dogs cuddled into me, keeping me warm and cozy, and it just takes me longer to get going. I've got a lamp, a SAD lamp that I use to help get sunlight into my eyes at my desk. I take vitamin D more during the winter. But anyway, I'm sure many people feel like that at this time of year. Like, it's not just the cold and the wet and the trying to get out of bed and get everybody ready. It's like it does have a genuine effect on many people's mental health. Which, if you think about it, how does that tie in with your eating habits? If you're someone that suffers from SAD during this time of the year, and you combine that with being a person who uses food to cope with their mood, who uses food for enjoyment, who uses food for pleasure, the time of the year, the dark, the cold, the wet, if that's having an effect on you, then you may be more inclined to lean into those habits. So it's also a thing that can affect your weight, however indirectly. Anyway, keeping the festive momentum alive, let's talk about what can be the next part. Last week was how to enjoy the festive season without overindulging. Things that have come up in check-ins since then are the scarcity mindset. And what was the other thing? Scarcity mindset, social pressures. So, scarcity mindset first. I kind of tapped into this last time. Scarcity mindset, people try, as with everything, God, I feel like a broken record, but I'm going to say this again, like as with everything, it's about coming at it from the other angle. So people think, right, I've got the scarcity mindset, I feel like I'm missing out. How do I stop feeling like I'm missing out? And they'll try and change that. Like, how do you just become someone who goes from feeling like they're missing out to not feeling like they're missing out? It's not by focusing on that in the same way that we don't lose weight by focusing on our weight. It comes from looking at, well, what is it that you want to be doing? What is it that you think you're going to be missing out on? So the discussion I was having with this person at their check-in, who shall remain nameless for privacy purposes, but she was talking about the scarcity mindset at this time of year. And now she's a small human. She has small energy needs. She is one of those people who does have to lose fat down at 11, 12, 1300 calories because she does not burn a lot of calories. Doesn't matter what you think or feel about 11 and 12 and 1300 calories, like, your feelings are irrelevant because those numbers might not be relevant to you. I don't need to diet on 1100 calories because I burn 2,500 calories a day. But sadly, not everybody burns 2,500 calories a day. Some people are burning 1,700, 1,800, 1,900. And if they want to lose somewhere around a pound a week, then they have to go down to 11, 12, 13. So don't get caught up in what social media tells you. Honestly, the amount of posts that I come across, and it's fucking idiots, personal trainer arseholes, fitness instructors getting involved in nutrition that had known nothing about it. Oh, that's the number of calories for a toddler. No adult human should be on those calories. And it just shows how fucking stupid they are. Not stupid in the sense that they don't know what they're talking about, stupid in the sense that they're talking about something that they don't understand. I don't talk about exercise. I don't talk about reps. I don't talk about sets. I don't talk about bicep curls and squats and leg extensions because it's not my department. Just to get the point across. Like people often think that just because someone's a personal trainer, they must know everything. They must know all about calories, all about macros, all about nutrition, all about mindset, all about binge eating. They don't. If you go do a personal training qualification, you will turn up at, well, you'll do a lot of study first of all, and you'll turn up at a gym for a few days to be taught how to safely coach people on how to perform exercises, and you'll get assessed on that. I started a personal training qualification when I first got into this, what I was doing. And I flicked through the entire thing. It was a hefty course. I printed off all these sheets, big massive book. Had to learn all about the skeleton, all about the muscles, all about biology. Then there was this tiny little section. A calorie is a unit of measurement. Protein is what your muscles need. Carbs are your body's fuel. And that was it. You know more than most personal trainers about nutrition just from listening to these podcasts. And the more of them you've listened to, the more you know. Anyway, Christ, sorry, that's just me getting pissed off at the world, which doesn't happen often. But yeah, so the point there was there are some people who need to go down to 12 and 1100 calories. Doesn't matter what you think or feel about those numbers, how low you think they are, because you're the way that you think and feel about it is based on what you've read on social media. It's not what you understand about the human body. It's what you've seen someone say, oh, that's too low. Anyway, so this person is a small human. She has smaller energy needs, and she has to diet on a smaller amount of calories. Remember, the whole calorie thing is relevant, right? If I want to lose I need 2,500 calories in a day. Now, everybody will have their own thoughts about that. Someone burning 1,600 will go, wow, you're so lucky. You can have 2,500 calories a day. It's like, why am I lucky? My 2,500 is the same as your 1,800. That's the number of calories I need to fuel my body. Yours is the number of calories you need to fuel your body. I'm not lucky because I get to do the exact same thing as you. All it means is that I get to eat slightly more food than you do. It means that my meals are slightly bigger or slightly higher in calories. It's not luck. It's just how it is. And if you're somebody that thinks like that, then it ties in nicely with what I'm about to talk about. But, if I want to lose a pound a week, I need to eat 2,000 calories. That's still 500 less calories than I need in a day. It's no different to someone burning 1,800 calories, eating 1,300 calories per day. It's still 500 less than you need. We're still going through the same thing. It doesn't matter about the number, about how high and low it is. It's all relative. Anyway, scarcity mindset. If you're somebody that thinks like that, if you're someone who looks at your partner who may be taller than you, more muscular than you, have a more physically demanding job than you, who may be able to seemingly eat whatever they want and not gain weight, and you get jealous of that, then that tells a lot about you. It tells a lot about the scale at which you want to do things, your desires, the way that you want to eat, the way that you think about food. You don't see food as something that fuels your body and supports your health and helps you be active and healthy and fit every day. You see it as pleasure. You see it as enjoyment. Because if you get jealous of how much someone else can eat, you're looking at that person going, I wish I could eat as much as that. I wish I could do that. And that's when you're starting to become completely disconnected from the purpose of food. Like the main purpose of food, not the only, but the main purpose of food is that it's your body's fuel source. It's the energy that your body runs on. We just live in a world where we don't think about that anymore. We don't realise how privileged we are in the UK to have such access to food, because we take it for granted. Well, probably do take it for granted because it's everywhere. So it's very easy to quickly lose sight of the purpose of food when it's so abundant, when it's not something that you have to physically think about, when it's not something that you know that your activity, your physical well-being, your ability to be active and move around and perform tasks each day is dependent on how well fueled you are. I mean, let's go back however many years to a time where there were no shops and supermarkets, and you had to hunt, catch, and kill your own food, or you had to sow, harvest, and whatever the things that you grew. Remember, if you think of it that way, those people's ability to do those things was dependent on them eating. Look at lions and tigers in the jungle in Africa. I got mixed up there. I mean in the jungle or in Africa. Not in the jungle in Africa. I don't think there is one. They expend a lot of energy chasing prey around to catch it. So that's the circle of life where their ability to chase after something, to kill it and eat it, is dependent on them being able to catch something to kill it and eat it. So every animal that they consume is the energy that they use to catch the next one and the next one and the next one. We don't have that problem. We've just got food everywhere. That's why we have such issues with our weight. Because we're far too focused on the pleasure side, on the enjoyment side, on the, oh, that tastes nice. Oh, I love the taste of chocolate. That makes me feel good. That makes my anxiety go away. That makes my emotions and unhelpful feelings and unwanted thoughts disappear for a minute. I quite like that. I'm going to keep doing that. And we eat and eat and eat. Yes, food can be pleasure and it can be enjoyment, but it's not all it should be. It is mostly fuel. And it is mostly the fuel that supports your physical and mental health on a daily basis. Anyway, circling back, the scarcity mindset comes from what I just said about, like, you know, perhaps getting jealous of your partner. You're too focused on quantity. You want to be able to eat lots. You want to be able to eat often. You want to be able to eat this, this, and this. However, when you do that, this annoying thing happens. Your weight goes up. And people get annoyed at the wrong thing. Yeah, but when I eat that, my weight goes up. And they think that's the problem. Instead of coming back and saying, well, actually, maybe it's a me thing. Maybe I want to do too much of that. Maybe I am eating too much chocolate. Maybe I am snacking too much. Maybe I'm not prioritizing meals enough. And you lose sight of the purpose of eating. And the scarcity mindset, if you think about it, like, that's not the problem. The problem is, well, if you think you're missing out, why do you think you're missing out? What are your expectations? How much chocolate do you think you should be able to eat without gaining weight? How many packets of crisps do you think you should be able to eat without gaining weight? Is it 10, 20, 30, 50? At which point do you say that you're not missing out? You could eat one crisp, or you could eat a multi-pack of 16 packets of crisps, and at the end of the day, you can still say you ate crisps. It all comes down to scale. And if we bring that back to Christmas, and this was the example I was using in the check-in earlier on, it's you can eat one mince pie today, or you could eat 6 mince pies today, and then have to go buy another box tomorrow. Like, in each situation, you can get to the end of your day and say, I had a mince pie today. It just comes down to, like, what are your expectations of scale? How much of a thing do you want to do? That's the missing out part. Because the thing is, you shouldn't miss out on anything. I'm not going to miss out on a single thing this Christmas, and my weight is going to do nothing. I'm going to eat cheese and biscuits. I'm going to drink alcohol-free beer. I'm going to eat crisps and nuts, mince pies, ice cream, What else? What else do you have at Christmas? Maybe Christmas chocolates? I don't know. Whatever else is involved. I forget. I don't make a big deal of Christmas. It's more for the kids. It's not for me. I'm going to do all those things and my weight's going to do nothing. You and I may do the exact same things this Christmas, and your weight might go up by 15 pounds in January, and my weight might go down or stay the same or go up by 1 pound. What will the difference be? The difference will be that I had 1 mince pie a day and you had 4. I had 4 squares of chocolate a day, you had an entire bar. I had a handful of nuts, you had a whole packet. That's the difference. And that's all the difference is. You know, isn't it? Do you not think it's empowering to know that Christmas is not going to do anything to your weight? Christmas foods are not going to do anything to your weight, but your choices will? That should be empowering. Because that's something that you have complete and utter absolute control over. And before you start thinking that you're out of control or you lack control, that's nonsense. You are in control. If you're not in control of your choices, who is? Who's the one choosing to eat those things? Who's the one going to the cupboard to get that? Who's the person lifting that food up and putting it in your mouth? Remember, I know we spoke about this. Oh no, it's maybe one of the new lessons I put in the course, actually, not a podcast episode, but I spoke about control, explaining that you are always in control. The thing is, I think I did talk about this in a podcast. You say you're out of control because you want to distance yourself from the choices you're making, because afterwards you feel bad about them. And you can't understand it. Why did I eat all that chocolate? Why did I eat all those mince pies? Why did I eat all those cheese and crackers? Because you wanted to. Nobody wants to admit that, because if you say you wanted to, then you're in big trouble, because you don't want to be overweight, yet you want to do things that lead to your weight going up. It's easier to it's easier to face and easier to handle and deal with if you put it down to a lack of control. Because when it's a lack of control, it's not you. It's something that you don't have any control over. So you can't take responsibility for it, and that makes it easier to handle. But you're always in control. You're the one in control when you choose to eat fruits and vegetables. You're also the one in control when you choose to eat takeaways and chocolates and multiple packets of crisps and keep going back to the Pringles tub. Remember, that's the start point to improving these things, taking ownership of them. So, scarcity. Ultimately, scarcity comes down to how much of something you want to do versus how much you're actually doing it. If you feel like you're missing out because you only had 1 mince pie today when you wanted to eat 4, what's the problem? Is it the scarcity mindset, or is it your expectations of putting too much food in your body? You want to eat you should eat, or a portion for you might be 4 squares of chocolate. But because of your scarcity mindset, that's not enough, because you want to eat the entire sharing bar of chocolate. Remember, if you buy a sharing bar of chocolate and it has, let's say, 4 times 20 squares, you could eat chocolate every day for 20 days. 4 squares of chocolate every day for 20 days. In fact, you could eat 1 square 4 times a day for 20 days. Imagine that, eating chocolate 4 times in a row, 4 times in a day for 20 days in a row. But the scarcity mindset kicks in, because you don't want 1 square, you want half the bar. So how do you work on the scarcity mindset? You don't. You work on your excessive mindset. You work on the way that you think about food and why you want to use it in such an excessive way. Why does it need to be a whole bar? Why does it need to be 6 mince pies? Why does it need to be the entire tub of Pringles or the entire packet of nuts? Next thing, social pressures. Sorry, I'm aware that I went on a mega tangent at the start of that. Sorry. I did wander off a few times. Let's keep this last part focused. Social pressures. Touched on this last time. You're going to find yourself in situations this Christmas where you're sat in people's houses, or at dinners or at parties or whatever people do at this time of year. Whatever your Christmas traditions might be. And people are going to offer you food. Now, what you need to do is work on your mindset around this. This is not something for other people to work on. This is not something for other people to change or do differently. This is something for you to think differently about. When someone offers you food, that's all they're doing. They're offering it to you. They are not expecting you to eat on demand. They're not holding a bowl out to you and saying, would you like some? But what you hear is, eat this right now or I'm going to think something bad about you. Because that's what it is. Social pressures, there are no social pressures. There is only you thinking other people's thoughts for them. Oh, that was good. Write that down. There are no social pressures. There are only you thinking other people's thoughts for them. That's not 100% true. There are some people who are extremely pushy. But even at that, that's still a them thing. That's still their problem. Remember, there are people who fucking love this time of year because they love feeding people. My granny was a feeder. So all the way throughout my childhood, for as long as I can remember, I went to my granny's house for Christmas dinner. My granny, I don't know what she did the rest of the time, but for as many years as I knew her, or was old enough to be aware of what she did, my granny was a cook in a special needs high school in Torwood. It's not there anymore. They built houses on it. And she was a cook. And my goodness, could she cook. Like, you know how you go to somebody's house for Christmas dinner and it's like turkey and all the trimmings? Well, my granny spent the entire year, while on her travels across Scotland, going hill walking and stuff with my grandpa, picking up different stuff at different butchers and in different supermarkets for the entire year. So when we got to Christmas, there was duck, there was pheasant, there was steaks, there were pork, there was turkey, and then all the trimmings. There was never just one dish, right? It was ridiculous. And all the family used to go. My granny was a feeder. And she was one of those feeders who didn't feed herself. And you'll know, if you have one of them in your life, what that's like. They tend not to have any issues with their weight themselves. They can often be quite slim themselves. But by God, do they love to see other people eat. And it's almost like a hobby. Like you know how you take great pleasure in something? Maybe you take great pleasure in a cleaning job well done, or tidying your car, or organising your wardrobe, or doing something else, like something else that gives you a lot of satisfaction. There are people who get that level of satisfaction and pride and accomplishment from cooking for people and feeding them and entertaining and whatever. So that's a bit like what my granny was like. And it wasn't that she was pushy. She just, from the outside, it probably looked like being pushy. But once you're closer to it and you get a better understanding of it, it's quite simply that people want everyone to feel comfortable. Like if you're in somebody else's company or somebody else's house, they want you to feel as comfortable in their home as they want you to feel. That's why they keep saying, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. And they'll repeat it, help yourself, go and get another, go through the fridge and get yourself another bottle of beer. There's plenty of crisps and snacks and stuff on the table. There's leftovers through in the kitchen, help yourself. Like it's not that they're being pushy or putting pressure on you, they're just trying to be a good host. But and this is where it comes back to us, this is where we feel pressured, because we start thinking other people's thoughts for them. They're going to think this about me if I don't do this. They're going to think I'm like this if they don't see me doing this. Let's say 90% of social pressures are in your head. No one is standing, staring at you with a spoon in their hand, trying to force feed you. Yes, they will offer multiple times, but that's all it is. It's an offer. What you're hearing isn't what they're saying. What you hear is, eat this now, or I'm going to think you're a weirdo. What they're saying is, would you like some nuts? That's it. Just people trying to be polite and welcoming and sociable. But there is the dark side to this, because there are people who will go to a lot of effort of cooking. And again, most people aren't like this. And if there is someone like this, you'll know they're like this. I've got a couple of clients who don't particularly enjoy getting together with a family because it's just the same routine every time. Weight's a discussion, clothes sizes are a discussion, body sizes are a discussion, eating habits are a discussion because they're a dieting family. So yes, unfortunately, there will be some of you who are in that position, and that's a bit harder to handle. But for the most part, like people, somebody recently they were going to their partner's Christmas works party, and it was only the second time that this person had been in her partner's company, like around work colleagues, like at something like this. And she said, like, I don't really want to go and drink, because this was a few weeks ago. She was very focused on her goals. Weight loss was a priority. She wanted to, this was a period where she wanted to stay relatively focused, make sure she was in a deficit, not let anything distract her from that, but planning to relax a bit as we approach Christmas, right? So she's tagging along with her partner to this thing, but she doesn't want to drink because she knows what she's like when she drinks. She knows what her eating habits might be like, and she knows what she'll be like, under the influence and after the influence. So she said, I want to go to this, but I don't want to drink. Initially you go, well, okay, that makes sense. But then the next part kicks in, which is her thinking other people's thoughts for them. And this is where it starts to become distressing. So I've just said that to you, and it all makes perfect sense. She should be able to go, decide whether she wants to drink or not, and then follow through in that decision. Sensible, makes sense. Until you start projecting your thoughts into the heads of other people's. Because then she said, but last year I had a drink, and I'm really worried that they're going to think I'm boring this year. Maybe last year they thought I was fun, and this year they're going to think there's something wrong with me because I'm not having a drink, and I'll be less chatty, and I probably won't dance. And I was like, what was it exactly I said to her, because it helped. It was something like, do you think that all these other people are sitting in their houses right now thinking about whether or not you're going to be drinking this year? Like, in the same way that you're sitting here right now, writing back to me after I've recorded your check-in, telling me that you're worried about what all the other people are thinking. Do you think they're sitting in their house going, I wonder if she's going to drink this year because she was fun last year? They're not. They do not give a single hoot. All they're thinking about is themselves, turning up to the party, getting pissed, and that's it. And even when you're at the event, like, do you think anyone's going to come up to you and say, oh, hi, my name's such and such. Oh, I don't care what your name is. I just want to know how much you've eaten so I can judge you. I want to know how much you've drank so far so I can judge you. I'll decide. I'm going to decide if you're fun or not based on the number of glasses of wine you're going to tell me you've had. And I think our reply was like, thanks for calling me out on my nonsense, or something along those lines. But that's what it is. Like, it's so easy to get lost in your own thoughts. It's so easy to think other people's thoughts for them. And then you build a story around it. You build a whole narrative in your head around something that you've made up. It's entirely made up. And then you can then talk yourself in and out of things. Oh, do you know what? I will just drink because I don't want people to think this and I don't want people to think that. Nobody cares how much you drink. Will people under the influence come up and offer you a drink? Ask you why you don't have a drink in your hand? Of course they do. People are arseholes with a drink in them. Everybody is an idiot with a drink in them. Everybody. Even the people who think they're sensible. Everybody's got that idiot side to them. And we don't take any notice of that idiot side, not under the influence. Because let's be honest, like, are drunk people's opinions more valuable than sober people's opinions? Methinks not. Even the sober opinions, who cares? But I know a lot of people care about what other people think about them. But when it comes to drunk people, my goodness, we do not care about what they think or say. Anyway, I'm at the busy main road now. I've just put the leads on the dogs. That's enough from me. Hopefully, somewhere within all of that, there's been a bit of value. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. I know these ones have been a bit longer. It's just, I keep meaning to cut them off halfway around the walk and make 2 15-minute episodes. This has probably ended up 30, 35 minutes. I hope there's been some value in it. Anyway, until next time.